welcome back to another process video where this week I'm going to be talking about a character called Kariss. And Kariss is a Yuan-Ti, I believe she's a cleric. Based on her backstory, she came from a temple of Bahamut, so at this point, I drew this about 2 years ago as part of a group ensemble piece that I was commissioned by my current DM to commemorate their previous campaign. So a lot of the work that I, at least starting out, mostly just written descriptions. And at this point, I didn't really know a lot about the established lore of D&D. So I literally kind of took direct inspiration from the Bahamut stuff, and so I put her in robes, and I kind of went with those like silvery blue color scheme. But the robe stuck, but the armor goes through a little bit of different iterations, especially the breastplate, as you'll see going forward. But I wanted some structural pieces to, I guess, counterbalance the flowiness of the robes and still kind of make her seem like she's actively adventuring, like she still has to defend herself and keep herself safe. So I threw in a bit of armor. Her face, for whatever reason, gave me a struggle, but I ended up finding a good spot. I got that kind of alluring, like serpentine look in her eye, but I still gave her like softer humanoid features. But Kariss was one of the only characters in this piece that their player had an actual like direct reference that I could use for her, and I think that seeing that really helped solidify the look in the face, uh, even though it was like, I think, a portrayal of like later in their campaign, like she was dripping in jewels and uh, very elegant but dangerous looking person. Um, this ensemble piece, they really wanted to convey that everyone was like just starting out, and so I really took heavy inspiration from the written description and her backstory, having come like maybe almost directly from the temple, and so she still has like all her the traditional regalia on before she adventures out and starts finding her like more magical items or her own style sort of thing. But here I'm moving on to like color, and again I'm playing with the traditional, I guess, silvery blues of Bahamut. And now adding her familiar. But despite the apparent fight that I was having with the design, I'm really happy with how I set up the hands. So like the arms, I wanted her to kind of I would eventually add the effects where she's like evoking her magic, especially when it comes to putting all of the different characters together for the group photo. She would eventually have effects that kind of go around the entire group and tying everything together, so it doesn't look like just, kind of hodgepodge together. But the arms also created a nice, convenient scaffolding for her serpentine familiar that she has with her. I believe his name is Kess. But I was made aware of him actually a little later in the process. They were like, "Oh, are you able to add this? Like, I know you've already been working on the piece," and I was in a place with the composition that I was able to say, "Oh yeah, like that will not be a problem." And so you can see that I kind of um, have him snaking around her arms, and I wanted to really, I guess, exemplify their relationship as like master and familiar with his expression. So instead of them both looking at the viewer or at the camera, essentially, um, I liked how he looks with that kind of look of devotion or like awaiting uh, Kariss's command. And I did have a bit of a reference for the snake since he had a mini, and so I was given a picture of that mini, and he had a different paint job, but I felt like it, and you could see that I had him originally colored in greens and such, and I kind of played with like a prismatic sort of look. Um, but in the end, I went with white just because I feel like that looked a little more magical. And here are those finishing magical arcs. Thank you so much again for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.